Well done. We've actually reached the last stage of our journey together. Today, we'll talk about vocabulary teaching, its importance, and various ways to approach the teaching of vocabulary. Vocabulary refers to the words, phrases, idiomatic expressions, and grammatical constructs of the language. In other words, all the lexical items needed to use the language. Vocabulary building is probably one of the most important tasks of the language teacher. It is a well-researched fact that learners who do not know 95% of the words in a reading text are not able to understand that text with any real comprehension. So vocabulary knowledge is crucial to the development of English language proficiency. Learners have to acquire several components of vocabulary as they acquire the language. Learners need to see and hear the words, and they also understand their meaning if they are to use them effectively in speech or writing. We need to expose learners to denotations and connotations of words. They also need to understand collocations and appropriate word usage. Before giving learners a reading or writing task, it's a good idea to give a few new vocabulary words and write them where learners can see them and use them in their task. The meanings, spelling, and pronunciation of these words should be brought to the learner's attention. It is often said that learners should learn to deduce the meaning of words from the context when reading. This can only happen if learners know enough words in the text to enable them to do this. Learners should be exposed to word families to facilitate a wider knowledge of words. Introduce learners to the word families as they encounter the words in texts. Also, it is a good idea to introduce frequently used words, so learners have these at their fingertips. Lists of these words are to be found on the internet. An important aspect of all vocabulary building is reviewing those words. It's not enough just to introduce new words. Words, expressions, and other lexical items need to be reviewed wherever possible. Display some words on the classroom walls and pick a few favorite words and repeat them before the lesson starts. Learners should be encouraged to keep a personal vocabulary list that they can use when writing their classroom tasks. We know that classroom teaching of vocabulary is a valuable tool in the hands of the English teacher, but learners also learn much vocabulary from extensive reading. Therefore, anything the teacher can do to encourage out-of-class reading helps learners to grow their vocabulary knowledge. Teachers should also be aware of some good resources to assist them with their vocabulary teaching. A good dictionary and a thesaurus are essential for every teacher. The internet is invaluable for teaching. Ideas for teaching vocabulary as well as word lists of the most frequently used English words are available online. The Oxford 3000 is one such a site. We suggest that lists like these are useful for teaching learners the words they use more frequently. It's a good idea to give learners a list of new words before they write their essays or any other written assignments. The words are selected based on the learner's needs when they need to write. It is the ideal teachable moment. Ask learners to use the new words and even award a mark or two for those learners who use the words in their writing appropriately. Always make very sure that learners understand the meanings of all the new words you introduce. There are wonderful rhymes, poems, pictures, word games, and puzzles. They all help us to make the acquisition of new words enjoyable and memorable. Enjoy word building with your learners. See you later.